provide some insight on how to manage conflict during your university experience, I've asked Dr. Leah Hollis and Professor David Barney to give you some tips on how to manage conflict at Morgan State University.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. Banks, for that introduction. And we want to echo the words that you just put out and welcome the students to Morgan State University for this academic school year. I'm Professor David Barney, and this is my colleague.
Hi, I'm Dr. Leah Hollis. I'm very excited to be here for some of the best times of your life here at Morgan State.
Today, we're going to talk about something that you're going to encounter, especially as freshmen: conflict, resolution, and bullying. We hope that by the time we finish this presentation, that you have a better understanding of what conflict is.
And also how to resolve it, especially by not becoming a bully.
Exactly, especially with so much peer pressure. So, sit back, relax. We have a few words we want to share with you, and hopefully you walk away from this a little different than you were when you came to Morgan. Welcome.
The goal here, of course, is to start with the end in mind. But just so you know, I'm not new to this field. I've been in student services over 20 years, and currently I'm a professor here at Morgan State.
Well, as for me, I've dealt with public relations for about 15 years. I'm also a professor here, and I teach communications. And one thing we know for sure, we cannot not communicate. And effective communication can resolve a lot of conflict.
So we're both here to talk about where he and I have both been your first year of college. So let's talk about bullying, or how not to be one, and conflict resolution. Let's take a moment. One of the things we'd like you to think about is you need to start with the end in mind. You need to imagine, where do you want to be in 4 to 5 years? Think about your graduation. It's an exciting time. It's a happy time.
Right.
Do you remember when you got your first job, how excited you were for that?
I was super excited.
And all of that is important because the decisions you make now are certainly the decisions that are going to help you get to that graduation, to that job, to that internship. And you will join one of the illustrious Morganites already out there.
There are quite a few of them, too.
Yes.
Want to tell us who they are?
David Talbert is one of them. He's the screenwriter and director of Baggage Claim. Did you see that movie?
Hilarious.
It was funny.
And now let's not forget Monique. Hilarious.
Absolutely.
All right, she's a Morganite.
Morganite. She's on HBO this month, actually, with Bessie's playing Ma Rainey. Excellent actress. We have some more important people from Morgan. Valerie Thomas, who is a NASA researcher, which is really great, ladies. You can get out there and enjoy the sciences. And we also have Denise Williams, an R&B gospel singer. Also a Morganite. Did you know that?
Yeah, but you know what I think? Denise Williams might be a little bit too old for them.
You think?
They may be. But anyway, she's a good artist.
We've got one more I certainly want to share with you. And this is Rochelle Stevens, 1992 and 1996 Olympic medalist. She was here at Morgan on the 4x4 relay. She's second from the left. So as you can see, coming to Morgan really sets you up not only for a world-class education, but a world-class experience when you finish successfully.
And that's the key word, though, Dr. Hollis, successfully.
Successfully.
We cannot let the decisions that we make, ill decisions, stand in the way of our success. Because after all, yeah, we're here to have a good time, but more importantly, we're here to learn and to be civil in the process.
Because some of the decisions you make around conflict, and you will have conflict, but the decisions you make during conflict, your decision not to be a bully, it can either lead you to success, like all the Morganites we just told you about, or it could lead you away from campus if you end up suspended.
And you know, the one thing you don't want in your academic career is to be suspended for a lack of conduct or a lack of civility or dealing with conflict inappropriately. Either suspended or worse, in jail.
In jail. Bullying is a serious problem. A lot of times in our K through 12 experiences, we've heard about bullying. Don't bully the weaker kid, don't bully. But you know what? After you graduate from high school, those behaviors can still come with you. So just to give you a quick definition of bullying, it's when you act in such a way or join others to insult them or berate the individual. You put the other person at a deficit. They're feeling hurt, sometimes depressed. It can really hurt their progress. And interestingly enough, as we're going to see later, it goes against the code of conduct. So quite frankly, learning proper conflict resolution skills really makes you a great Morganite while you're here and a wonderful Morganite when you graduate. But David, tell me, who was bullied?
Well, you know, sometimes we bully and we don't even realize we're bullying.
Yeah.
Whether we're tweeting, whether we're putting up something on social media, we're Snapchatting. Didn't know we knew about that, did you? Yeah, we know all of your social media hangouts. But you know what? Typically, the person could be overweight, could be less popular, could be not so attractive, may not have the clothes that everyone else wears, maybe a different culture.
Sometimes.
You know, because let's face it, at Morgan State University, we have a diverse campus of students.
Yes.
So we have to be cognizant of that. So those are some of the issues, are some of the people who are actually bullied.
Sure.
So tell me, what about picking on the different person?
What I've learned in my research on workplace bullying, on K through 12 bullying, on college bullying, it's the kid who's on the outside. It may be exactly what you said. They're the one who doesn't play the varsity sport and all their apartment mates are on the same team. Maybe everybody's in the same sorority and this particular person just transferred in. Or maybe this particular person really likes the sciences and everybody else is in an education major. But it's always the person on the outside. And you know, there's a lot to learn from the person on the outside. That person can help you with your math homework. Yeah, that person can also help you if you need to solve something. Or even you need to learn different cultures or dances or whatever it is. Or for me, maybe I need to learn Snapchat.
There you go. But you know, you made a point, and that is person being on the outside. Because that person is on the outside, and because you might be that person on the outside, it doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make that person any greater. We need you to be comfortable in the skin that you're in, and be comfortable on the college campus here at Morgan State. And if there are times where you're not comfortable, at the end of this video, we'll give you some resources that you can reach out to help you along the way. But most important, we really want to talk about the Student Code of Conduct, which Morgan holds
everybody
accountable to.
Everybody. One thing to keep up with the Code of Conduct, and this is not exhaustive, some of the things we're going to go over here, is it's about a regard for each student as an individual. Everybody deserves individual attention, consideration, and respect. The Morgan Code of Conduct is to hold each student in a high standard of behavior, both to protect the campus community and promote student morale and development. It's really very important. Being reckless really does hurt your status here at Morgan. From the Student Code of Conduct, what it means is reckless conduct means action which a reasonable person should know creates a clear risk of harm to person or property, or would disrupt lawful activities of others, like studying, teaching, research, and university administration. Quite frankly, if you're reckless and out of control, you're not within the Morgan Code of Conduct, and you can really jeopardize your status here on campus. First scenario, the roommate video.
The refract was good today.
For once.
I know. I'm full.
Yes. 106 in parking lot.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wednesday?
Yes.
Wow, Wednesday.
Hey, can you guys lay your bushes for me?
Young
I'm
Taz
trying to study
represent
for my
Memphis,
test.
Tennessee. M-Town, stand up, man. Young
Guys,
Taz is in the
keep your
building. So
voices
listen,
down. My roommate's trying to study for her quiz.
how will your performance uplift everybody at home? Well, hopefully it's gonna get
Oh
everybody.
my gosh, I love this song.
Me too.
We got some good choreography.
Do you know the words? Because I don't know the words.
No,
But I like singing
I like the
them.
video.
It's better.
Excuse me. Y'all being loud and obnoxious, and I'm really trying to study.
I'm sorry. I really am. Because you can study in the library because it's 24 hours. Or anywhere else other than our bedroom. Thanks. I just so don't understand. They're about to dance.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on. Wait. Did you see what your roommate just put on Twitter?
No, and I don't care.
I think you should.
Why?
Studying for this cam test in the lobby since my loud roommate and her rude friends won't leave.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It's right here.
Did the most.
Wait until she comes back in here. Like, I want to fight her now. You know what? No, I'm just gonna smash her computer so she can't make any more tweets.
You really gonna fight her over a tweet?
Yes, I am. She just got disrespectful with me and my friends.
But yeah.
Guys, can you excuse me? I need to talk to my roommate alone.
Okay. See you later.
See
Bye.
you guys later. Text us if you need us.
All right, bye.
Problems like this can be prevented with 3 steps of communication. The first step is coming to a neutral space so you two can talk. You don't want the person to feel defensive with other people watching. You also don't want others to jump into the conversation. So go into a room where you two can talk privately. Next, understand the problem. You want to use I statements and not you are being loud and obnoxious. Instead, using I would like the room to be quiet while I am studying. Last, come to a compromise, an agreement that will suit the both of you.
Love for self, love for others, love for Morgan, love for learning. These principles start with you. Respect your house. It is your Morgan experience.
Let's talk about the video.
So think about it. We all have roommate conflicts. Even if you think about your brothers and sisters at home or your mom at home or whoever, there's going to be some conflict. But how do you resolve it? And in this question, the first thing we would ask is, how were each of the roommates initially wrong? They each have a responsibility to follow the code of conduct and to resolve conflict that it seems to be bubbling up. Any suggestions, David?
Well, there are a couple of things we could do. If you know that there's a conflict arising in your room, take a step back. Think about the end results and ask yourself, is it worth it? Sometimes you might want to just remove yourself from the environment altogether.
Goes back to the point we started out with, Professor Barney. Start with the end in mind. Okay, your roommate's playing the music too loud. Okay, you have a test tomorrow. Is there someplace else you could study? Is your music really that important? Maybe you should go play it somewhere else.
Or put on some headphones.
Put on some headphones.
Hey, what do they call them?
Those earbuds.
Yeah, the earbuds. Here you go.
But I will say this. It's not worth getting into a conflict, which is going to result into disciplinary action at Morgan and can really affect your career.
Just be mindful that the decisions you make can really affect you in the long run. And sometimes the outcome is not so great. So take a moment, really. If you're frustrated, and we do know as college students, work overload, homework, papers, deadlines, peer pressure, we know levels of frustration can rise. But sometimes just take a step back.
And that's a good point for the group of students, because there was a mob of students as well. So imagine you're one of the bystanders. What could you do differently to help diffuse the problem?
As a bystander, guess what? I'm on the outside looking in. I have a different frame of reference. So I might, just like one of you might be a bystander, and it's okay to step in and try and bring some resolve. It only helps you, it helps the students, your peers, and Morgan State University.
Here's the second scenario about culture and differences.
Hey, Remy.
Hey, what's that smell?
I don't smell anything.
It really stinks in here. Your food smells really gross.
What? This is my favorite dish. They make this all the time at home.
Where are you from?
I'm from Haiti.
Okay, well, your food really stinks. How about we make American food in this room?
Whoa. There's nothing wrong with my food. If you don't like it, you can get out.
No, you and your nasty food can get out.
That's really unfair to say. You don't know anything about my food or my culture.
I know that your food stinks.
Members of the Morgan community, students and faculty, come from diverse backgrounds. About 35% of Morgan students come from different states, even other countries. It's important for us to remember to respect and appreciate the differences that each of us bring. Morgan State University's cultural differences are celebrated through campus events hosted by various clubs and organizations. With students from about 5 different continents, Morgan puts strong emphasis on worldwide appreciation of cultures.
Love for self, love for others, love for Morgan, love for learning. These principles start with you. Respect your house. It is your Morgan experience.
Well, you know, as I mentioned earlier, Morgan State University, we're very diverse. A lot of cultures on this campus. And so there's going to be a situation where students are going to encounter someone who is different than they are.
Yes.
So what about that?
One thing we need to understand is this is a great training ground for what's going to happen when you graduate with this wonderful degree. You're going to have different people in the workplace from the Caribbean or from Africa, from Europe, from a different state, perhaps even a different team. But all that to say, those cultural differences really can bring up some great ideas, can help you solve problems. But if you're busy fighting each other over petty things, so one of the things to help resolve this conflict is maybe instead of going back and forth about the food stinks, maybe ask what's in it.
Yeah, let me taste it.
Let me taste it.
Hey, you might come to like it.
You might find out you like it.
There you go.
What are some other strategies you think you can connect with people who are different than you? Any strategies you use?
Well, you know what I tend to do is I meet someone who's different than I am. I'm pretty inquisitive. So I'll ask them if they're from another country, hey, what's it like? How do you guys do A, B, and C in your country? Or what I might do if I'm close to a computer, I'll just do a Google, and give me some background information on that particular country. And guess what? I can show them that not only am I interested in connecting with them, but also that I'm interested in where they come from. Because I may ask a question that I got on Google, say, hey, I didn't know it rains 90% of the time in your country. How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. Maybe visit Seattle. But aside from that little thing, one of the things you're going to find out as you go through Morgan and as you go through your career, the more you know about different cultures, it can set you up. If you learn a different language, all of a sudden you can do a great internship in Spain or Mexico. You may find out you have a wonderful opportunity to travel to China. Are you really going to get upset about how they do food in China? And trust me, it's not the American version of Chinese food. Your world is so open to you that perhaps the opportunity to learn from a different culture is really in your dorm room. And you need to embrace that, because down the road, you may need to know what food is like in Haiti, or Nigeria, or Lisbon, Portugal, or wherever that Morgan degree is going to take you.
Sim. Isso é muito importante, los personas en país hablamos español, porque muchas personas españolas hablamos aquí.
You're showing off now, Professor.
Just a little bit.
So one last thing. How do you deal with the party and the knowledge of things? You know something's going wrong and you're a bystander. So many times we don't want to dime out our friends. We don't want to be the tattler. But you know somebody's going to get hurt. You know somebody had problems at the last party or event. What would you tell your students to do?
Hey, listen, peer pressure is tough and we know it. We know that the saying is snitches get stitches and all this other stuff. Let me explain something to you. Sometimes you're going to be in a situation and you're going to see it and you know it's wrong. Ask yourself this question. If you were on the other side and someone saw it happening to you, would you want them to help out either with their input or to let someone else know? Here's my point to you. Don't let the added pressure of worrying about whether you're going to be labeled as a dime or a snitch keep you from doing the right thing. Remember, there's a code of conduct, and we are each other's keeper, all right? So you may be saving a life or your own.
Absolutely. And I know I was absolutely shocked when you told me about this next scenario. Very sad story at Bowie State.
Yes.
Can you retell it?
Yes. In 2011, major conflict, 2 roommates, 2 beautiful black women, young ladies, both of them from Maryland. There was Dominique and Alexis. Dominique was at Bowie State before Alexis got there. Alexis was at Clark Atlanta University.
She's at Atlanta. That's
yeah, she transferred in. So coming in, like any situation, she's a new kid on the block.
And she's the outside kid.
She's the outside kid, right. So they're in the dorm room, and Dominique has all of her friends over. So over time, they had been dealing with conflict within their room with no real plan for resolution. Though Alexis did go to the university and let them know that she was having conflict issues with her roommate.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, nothing was done until the conflict, the small things, grew to a point where they exploded. So homecoming weekend in 2011, Dominique had her girlfriends in the room playing music as everyone was in a very jovial,
homecoming.
Yeah, it's homecoming.
Yeah, okay.
Only thing, Alexis was trying to study. So Alexis asked Dominique several times if she would turn her music down.
Right.
But Dominique and her friends kind of taunted Alexis, and they turned it up even louder. As a result, Alexis wound up turning off the music, which incited the roommates even more.
So it got higher and higher and hotter and more vicious.
Exactly. So we're dealing with conflict that we're watching grow. So eventually what happened was they jumped on Alexis. Alexis retreated to her room. She got a knife and she started swinging it. And unfortunately, Dominique lost her life. And for almost 2 years before the trial, Alexis is sitting in a prison. She goes from sitting in a dorm room to sitting in a prison.
So you're telling me 2 lives are ruined because neither one of them or the bystanders knew how to resolve the conflict?
Exactly.
Both of their college careers ended. Both of their families are devastated. And 2 wonderful lives just tragically changed because they couldn't balance conflict.
Right.
How would you suggest they handled it differently?
Well, you know, one of the things she did, and I applaud Alexis, is she went to the university initially to try and get herself removed from the situation. But like you mentioned earlier, you have a couple of options. If your roommate is there with her friends and they're not going to stop playing music, you might want to choose someplace else to go. Or once it escalates, just lock yourself in a room. Call a friend. Call your parents. Call someone else.
Yeah. Also, some of the bystanders, they didn't have to join in with Dominique and make it worse. I'm sorry, if there's 5 people ganged up on me, I have to defend myself. So on one hand, even though nobody really condones what Alexis did, there is something called a fight or flight response, and the target may come out swinging. Unfortunately, in this case, Alexis came out swinging and ended up hitting Dominique in the neck with a knife.
Right. And I guess it would be also, I would be remiss if I wouldn't tell you also that in the trial, she was found not guilty because it was self-defense, because it was shown that bullying was the cause of this. But again, the conflict, we're talking about a small conflict that built up to this.
Sure. One of the things about conflict resolution, and I know here at Student Affairs at Morgan State, we talk about it quite a bit, is to look at each other's needs. Alexis had a need to study. Dominique had a need to be popular and perhaps enjoy homecoming weekend. The simple 5 or 10 minutes for both of them to talk about their needs. Perhaps the need of studying could have taken to the library. Perhaps the need of being social could have invited Alexis in. Any way to resolve that conflict so it didn't result in somebody's death. So take a moment to really sit down and look at everybody's needs and have a conversation. I need you to understand my studying. I need you to understand it's homecoming weekend.
Right.
What neither of them needed is what ended up happening.
Exactly. So we hope that you got a lot from this moment that we shared. We hope that you understand better what conflict is all about, and more importantly, how to resolve the conflict without jeopardizing your college career and or your life.
Absolutely. You need to begin with the end in mind, because if we go back to how we started, you will love this piece of paper when you earn it. You want to start with the end in mind. One of my favorite days here at Morgan State University is seeing that graduation and all those colors and all of that pageantry and all of the things you learned, and your friends are in the stands. And even as a faculty member, I'm just really excited to be out there. You want to get to that place.
Exactly.
And the way you do it is don't become a bully. Don't become a bystander who does nothing.
Right.
But become proficient at learning how to resolve conflict, because your employers are going to appreciate that you know how to avoid conflict. And you know what? Your parents are going to appreciate it too, because they're going to be there with you on graduation day as well. I know I saw you there this year.
Hey, nothing like graduation. And I'll tell you, one of the things I tell my students, I'm a sports fan, right?
Me too.
So you know what I tell them? I tell them you practice like you play.
You practice like you play.
Hey, let me ask you, we're in Baltimore, right? Home of the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
So you think the Ravens practice one way on the week and then play another way on Sunday?
No.
No, they practice the way they intend on playing on Sunday. So I like to use that analogy for you guys coming into Morgan. Hey, practice like you play, because you're not going to be in Morgan for a very long time. Those 4 years are going to go by so quickly, you're not going to know what hit you. And before you know it, you're going to have to take the skills, not just in the classroom, but the life skills you learn from Morgan and use those in the real world.
Absolutely.
So you're going to be practicing now like you intend to play once you get that beautiful degree in your hand.
Yes, and you'll go on. You can be a champion on your new job, on your sports team, even in your family life. There's nothing like being able to resolve conflict that makes everybody around you more productive.
Thank you.
So here's some resources we'd really like you to look forward to. If you do run into a problem and you need a little extra help, here are some of the places you can go to help out.
You can go to the Counseling Center. You can go to faculty.
There's University Chapel, the Student Government Association.
Student Affairs.
Faculty members, your parents, your friends, your peers, coaches, academic advisors, Office of Student Affairs. All of those places are here to help you practice resolving conflict so you can play through it when you move on here from Morgan.
Thank you.
Great to talk to everybody, and here's to a very successful academic year. Great to talk to you, Professor Barney.
Hey, I always enjoyed Dr. Hollis.